most respectfully to address you on behalf of my brothers of the Inner Bar at this special court session to formally mark the 2025-2026 legal year and opening of the 41st Federal High Court Annual Judges Conference. I can never thank my brothers of the Inner Bar enough for this great privilege, which they never tire of showering on me. We all love you and respect you, my lords. The credit is yours that we continue to thrive in this profession. The credit is yours that the nation continues to survive. It is a credit to you that as great as have been your contributions to the cause of justice, you do not feel that your work is done and that you can now take your rest. The nation is caught in one long midnight, and as the lamp flickers in your hands, you must call to mind the biblical injunction. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring judgment unto truth. Those who hate the lamp that you hold will do all that they can to extinguish it. You judges of this generation are not appointed to rest. You are in the same position in which the Apostle Paul found himself when he declared that he had been all things to all men, that by all means he might win a few. In his own words, to the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. But that was not the view that the orator Tertullus held of Paul when he appeared to prosecute him before the governor Felix. He said, "We have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes." We do not agree with Tertullus. Paul goes down in history as the greatest of the apostles. In much the same way, generations to come shall appreciate the sacrifices of you judges to save a nation in which nothing seems predictable. You must not despair. It is you who give us hope. As great as are our sacrifices as lawyers, the sacrifices of you judges are greater. That is why we feel indebted to you. That is why our duty of respect for you is unqualified. To speak of you as you hear me speak is not to say that you are perfect or that you have nothing more to do or to learn. I acknowledge that we do not have a perfect judiciary. I acknowledge that we still have a long way to go. It has become fashionable to criticize and condemn you judges, but those who do so do not know you well enough. And how can we see well to remove the speck in your eyes when we have not first remove the beam in ours. We, all of us, have fallen short of our obligations to the nation. Dictatorship would never have taken root in our country if corruption had not first permeated every department of it. So we are all guilty. We are all implicated. We should consider ourselves remarkably fortunate if the calamities that have befallen the nation can be blamed on one man or one institution. As for you judges, my lords, I bear witness to your sacrifices. Many of you have little or nothing to show for those sacrifices. If the wealth that some of us have acquired have brought us under suspicion and made witness against us on the day of judgment, it is the poverty of some of you judges that is the proof of your patriotism. If you are misunderstood, if you suffer condemnation, it is because that has always been the lot of those who lead. As judges, your place is in front. Take it and stay there. It is you who show the way. When your place is in front, you will be the first victims of the dangers that assail the nation. Be strong. I'm quoting from the Bible. Be strong and of a good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. You judges are in the remarkable position of deriving your authority and independence, not only from the Constitution, but also from yourselves. The judiciary is the one arm of government with the potential to expand its own power through the work of judicial review. The law is what you say it is. Say it. The power of judicial review is necessitated by the federal structure. Federalism requires an institution such as the judiciary to identify and check non-compliance by the federating units. The dominance of one political party, as is the case now, has tended to weaken Nigerian federalism. It has virtually eliminated the opposition. This dominance by one political party makes the work of the judiciary more urgent and important. When there is no opposition, the judiciary must be strong. It must be alert. It must be innovative. It must defend the law and the Constitution, employing every inherent power and sanction of a court of law. The framers of the Constitution would never have entrusted the judiciary with the custody and control of the Constitution without at the same time vesting it with the necessary jurisdiction and power to protect it at a time of mindless corruption. As I said before, it is midnight. It is you, judges, who lead in this darkness. At such a time, you must be bold, you must be courageous, you must be honest, you must be innovative. The criminalization of politics means that you are the hope of the nation, if the electoral process continues to be dominated by money, if violence and ethnicity continue to prevail, if the checks and balances instituted by law have been eliminated or have ceased to be effective, if all the structures for accountability provided in the Constitution are brazenly ignored, then, in that case, we need a judiciary that can assert itself. Do so now. Do not fear, nor be afraid. If this generation does not appreciate you, generations to come will do so. Generations to come shall look back and wonder how you were able to save a nation so totally lacking in moderation. It has been said that as long as the nation is rife with corruption, we should not consider ourselves a democracy. The hope of the nation is the judiciary. The hope of the nation is in the judiciary to remove this cankerworm of corruption so that we can have a genuine democracy. What that means is that you judges must be enlightened. You must spiritualize yourselves. A good judge must be holy. Whether the nation remains godless depends not so much on our priests and pastors and imams, but on you, our judges. The men and women of God have taught the lessons they ought to teach. It remains for you judges to punish disobedience. By the appropriate use of punishment, you have the means to compel criminals to give up crime. That is why it is said that a nation is as good or as godly as its judiciary. It is for this reason that some people blame not the politicians, but our judges and magistrates for the fallen state of our country. As long as our country remains as it is, it shall be a judgment on our judiciary. For some time now, thieves in our country have been stealing more than they need in the hope that they can share some of their loot with their prosecutors and judges. There is no greater insult to you, judges, than that sort of mentality. And so when criminals of that sort are arraigned before you, you should prove to them that you are implacably and irreconcilably opposed to their conduct. From the beginning, this profession taught you to take one side. Take the side of God. Take the side of the nation. Take the side of truth. There are sacrifices to be made. Make them. I know that for many of you, a life of commitment to truth has meant poverty. Offer that poverty as your sacrifice to God. We are building a nation of righteousness. We must give up our former ways. And the judiciary is a vital and indispensable partner in that effort. It is through the work of the judiciary that we shall know whether or not the nation is failing or succeeding. If the presidential system has failed, if it is failing, or if it has serious defects, it is through the work of the judiciary that we shall know what remedies to apply. The It is through the work of the judiciary that we shall know what remedies are available in the Constitution, either as it exists or as it can be amended to be. I can go on and on, but these are things you know. May the Lord bless you as you continue to serve. And I appeal to the nation, begin to pray for the judiciary. We are not going to help our judges by condemning them. If my emphasis is on God, it is understandable, because at my age, I think I'm beginning to peep on the other side. May the Lord bless you. Our hearts are with you. Please. Again and again and again, I say, may the Lord bless you. Thank you. But my Lord the Chief Judge, these things should be strong. Because when people like myself who have no energy come and stand here, we have to lean on it. But the press come and take it over, and we can't lean. Thank you.
Thank you. The 41st Annual Judges Conference. This occasion is not merely ceremonial. It is a moment of sober reflection and institutional renewal, offering us an opportunity to look inward with honesty and outward with clarity as we confront the evolving expectations of the Nigerian public and the increasing demands on our courts. I extend my warm appreciation to the Honorable Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Honorable Justice J.T. Soho, OFR, for the steadiness, discipline, and leadership he continues to bring to this court. The Federal High Court was not conceived as a court of peripheral jurisdiction, but as one central to the nation's legal and constitutional life. By constitutional design, it is entrusted with jurisdiction that lies at the very heart of national governance, including revenue, immigration, taxation, intellectual property, maritime operations, among others. The decisions of this court directly define the direction of national policy and shape the public's perception of the rule of law. It is therefore a court whose stability, discipline, and consistency are vital, not only to the legal community, but to every sector of our national life. In recent years, public expectation of the judiciary have grown significantly, just as scrutiny has intensified. The judiciary remains the last line of defense for the Constitution and the rights it guarantees. In an age where misinformation travels swiftly and institutional trust is increasingly fragile, we must continually demonstrate through both conduct and decisions that justice in Nigeria is anchored firmly on impartiality, transparency, and integrity. The judiciary does not speak through press statements or public commentary. Our judgments constitute our voice, and the manner in which we discharge our duties defines the authority and credibility of that voice. Beyond the substance of our judgments, the public increasingly measures justice by the discipline of our daily processes, punctuality in sitting, consistency in court schedules, and courtesy of giving advance notice when a court will not sit are no longer minor administrative matters. They are essential expressions of respect for litigants, counsel, and citizens whose time, resources, and confidence are invested in the justice system. A court that sits as scheduled, communicates clearly, and manages expectations transparently strengthens public trust, even before a single ruling is delivered. These practical acts of institutional discipline play a decisive role in restoring confidence in the judiciary. It would be unrealistic to ignore the fact that public confidence in judicial institutions is fragile and that perceptions, whether fair or otherwise, carry real consequences. Where court processes appear unpredictable, opaque, or inefficient, the credibility of even sound decisions may suffer. Given the strategic and sensitive nature of its jurisdiction, the Federal High Court attracts heightened public attention. This movement therefore calls for renewed institutional self-awareness and deliberate efforts to align internal standards with the high expectations placed upon this court. Restoring confidence is not achieved by rhetoric, but by reliability, professionalism, and visible order in the administration of justice. Judicial independence must therefore be upheld not as an abstract ideal, but as a lived and daily discipline grounded in courage, restraint, and fidelity to the law. Independence is not an adornment of democracy, it is its lifeblood. Yet, independence standing alone is insufficient unless exercised with responsibility and moral clarity. I commend the judges of the Federal High Court who, despite increasing pressures and public attention, continue to honor their oath and discharge their responsibilities with dignity, fairness, and professionalism. The workload of this court continues to grow, as we have seen from the statistics presented, not only in volume, but in complexity. Globalization, technology-driven crimes, financial innovations, cross-border commercial disputes, terrorism-related matters, and evolving regulatory frameworks now define much of the court's docket. These realities demand new skills, firmer case management, and rapid judicial adaptation. Traditional courtroom methods alone can no longer sustain the weight of the matters before this court. Digitization must therefore move from being viewed as a project-based intervention to a core institutional priority. Virtual hearings, e-filing, electronic case tracking, secure record management, and functional ICT support are no longer optional innovations. They are indispensable instruments of modern justice delivery. Digitization enhances not only speed, but accountability, predictability, and public confidence. When court information is accurate, timely, and easily accessible, uncertainty is reduced and trust is strengthened. The progress already made in this direction is commendable, but it must be deepened and sustained through continuous training, infrastructure investment, and firm institutional commitment. It is in this context that today's unveiling of the Information Electronic Directory Table and electronic notice and advertorial display screens is particularly significant. These systems represent more than technological upgrades. They embody a deliberate shift towards transparency, order, and user-centered court administration. The electronic display notice board provides a secure and authoritative platform for the real-time dissemination of court-approved information, including daily and weekly course lists, administrative circulars, official announcements, and emergency or safety notices. By centralizing and digitizing this information, the court reduces confusion, curbs the disorderly posting of notices, and ensures that judicial officers, counsel, litigants, and members of the public receive accurate and consistent information. Complementing this is the Electronic Display Directory Table, an interactive wayfinding tool designed to assist visitors in navigating court premises efficiently. By enabling users to locate courtrooms, registries, and departments independently, it reduces congestion, minimizes delays, and improves access to court services. Together, these systems promote dignity, efficiency, accessibility, and institutional coherence, which are values that must define the modern Nigerian judiciary. As we look ahead to the 2027 general elections, the judiciary will once again be called upon to play a stabilizing national role. Election-related disputes must be handled with discipline, consistency, and strict adherence to constitutional and statutory timelines. The nation looks to the courts for clarity and balance at such critical moments. This court has a crucial role to play in pre-election dispute resolution. Conflicting interim orders, forum shopping, and abuse of ex parte processes undermine the credibility of the entire justice system and weaken public confidence. Heads of divisions must therefore enforce procedural discipline firmly and fairly. The judiciary must never be perceived as a theater for political gamesmanship. It must remain a sanctuary of constitutional order. Delay in the administration of justice remains one of the most persistent concerns expressed by both the bar and the public. While some delays are structural, many are preventable. A judge must not regard himself or herself as a passive moderator of proceedings. The courtroom requires guidance, firmness, and purposeful control. Effective case management is not optional. It is central to judicial responsibility. Accordingly, the National Judicial Council will continue to strengthen oversight of case progression, not as a tool of intimidation, but as a means of supporting institutional discipline and improving justice delivery. Judicial welfare, security, and well-being remain critical priorities. A judiciary that is expected to be bold, independent, and impartial must also be adequately protected and equipped. Efforts will continue to improve working conditions, enhance research support, strengthen court infrastructure, and ensure the safety of judicial officers. A judge who does not feel secure cannot dispense justice with confidence, and this reality will continue to guide institutional reforms. I must acknowledge the indispensable role of court administrators, registrars, clerks, and support staff. Your work is not merely administrative, it is fundamental. A well-organized registry, accurate and well-maintained case files, timely transmission of records, and effective ICT support form the unseen architecture upon which the judicial efficiency rests. As judges recommit themselves to excellence in this legal year, the administrative machinery of the court must match that commitment with integrity, diligence, and professionalism. Ethical conduct remains the defining character of the Nigerian judiciary. Improved welfare must be accompanied by heightened responsibility. The National Judicial Council will continue to enforce discipline with fairness and firmness, recognizing that public trust is both precious and fragile. Each judicial officer must remain conscious that conduct, both on and off the bench, shapes public perception of justice even before judgments are delivered. The bench and the bar remain partners in the administration of justice. A weak link on either side diminishes the system as a whole. I therefore urge members of the bar to uphold the highest standards of advocacy, to eschew tactics that frustrate proceedings, and to work constructively with the courts in advancing efficiency, professionalism, and the rule of law. As we commence this new legal year and this year's Judges Conference, I encourage open, frank, and practical engagements. Judges Conferences are crucial workshops for recalibration, intellectual reinforcement, and honest self-assessment. Speak to your challenges, debate difficult issues, share experiences, and learn from one another. It is through such exchanges that institutions mature and strengthen. With renewed purpose and confidence in the capacity of this court, I am persuaded that the Federal High Court will continue to rise to the demands of its constitutional mandate. The tasks ahead are demanding, but they are not beyond our collective ability. What they require is discipline, clarity, innovation, and unwavering commitment to justice. On this note, it is my singular honor to formally declare open the 2025-2026 legal year of the Federal High Court of Nigeria and the 41st Annual Judges Conference. I wish you thoughtful deliberations and a legal year defined by integrity, wisdom, and impactful service. I thank you for listening, and may God bless